Like Tyre, Ezekiel prophesied the destruction of Sidon in detail. Ezekiel 28:22-23. History shows that his predictions were fulfilled in 351 BC when the king of Persia rose up against her and 40,000 of her citizens committed suicide rather than suffer at the hands of the king. In Hosea 13:16 and Micah 1:6, the prophets Hosea and Micah prophesied against the city of Samaria in 282 BC. They predicted the city will fall violently. It will be as a heap in the field, that vineyards would be planted over its top, that its stones would be poured down into the valleys, and its foundations would be discovered. These predictions were fulfilled in 120 BC at the hands of John Hyrcanus, causing great death and damage to citizens. In Isaiah 44:28 and 54:1, the prophet Isaiah, writing around 700 BC, names a king Cyrus as the king who will say to Jerusalem that it shall be built and the temple foundation shall be laid. But at the time of Isaiah's writings, the city and the temple were fully built. Not until more than 100 years later, in 586 BC, would the city and the temple be destroyed by King Nebuchadnezzar. After the destruction of Jerusalem, the children of Israel were taken into captivity by the Babylonians. But later, the Persians rose to power and they conquered the Babylonians in around 539 BC. Then a Persian king who was in power at the time, you got it, Cyrus, gave the decree to rebuild Jerusalem and the temple. This was around 160 years after the prophecies of Isaiah. This is truly an amazing prophecy, but it's not isolated. There are literally hundreds of such predictions found. The destruction of Gaza Ashkelon was foretold in 750 BC in Amos 1:8, Jeremiah 47:5, and Zephaniah 2:4-6. And it was fulfilled more than 450 years after the prediction in 283 BC. In Jesus' day, there once were 4 beautiful ancient cities situated near the seashores of the Sea of Galilee. These were the cities of Tiberias, Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum. In Matthew 11:20-24, Jesus spoke against the cities of Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum, prophesying their destruction. And these cities were later destroyed by the Romans during their attack in AD 70. However, it's interesting to note that only of the 4 cities, one still stands to this day, the city of Tiberias, which is the only one of the 4 which Jesus did not prophesy against. There were 333 predictions prophesying the coming Messiah in the Old Testament. Theologians tell us that it would be theoretically impossible for somebody to fulfill only 8 of these 333 prophecies. They said it would be on the lines of filling the state of Texas waist deep with silver dollars and having a blindfolded man dive out of an airplane with a parachute at his choosing and to land at the exact point and pick up the exact coin marked with a red silver X on the back side of it. That would be the odds of fulfilling just 8 of these 333 predictions. These predictions were all written between 500 and 1,000 years before the time of Jesus Christ. And yet he fulfilled all 333. It was prophesied that when the Messiah came, he would be born of the Jewish lineage of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob. That would begin his ministry on the shores of Galilee. It was predicted that he would be rejected by his own people, that he would be sold for 30 pieces of silver. It was prophesied hundreds of years before it came to pass that he would be crucified, that he would be numbered among the transgressors like a common criminal. It prophesied that his executioners would gamble for his clothing. It was prophesied that he would die for his people, that he would be laid in a rich man's tomb. Hundreds of years before it came to pass, it was prophesied he would not stay in the grave long enough for his body to see corruption. It said he would rise again. Out of all the history books that have ever been written, the Bible literally tells us history in advance. It passes a prophetic test. The fact of the matter is that out of the religions of the world, only the Bible passes all 4 of the tests and demonstrates itself to be divine rather than human in origin.